Hi, I'm Melody Yang. I'm going to analyze the game's What Remains of Edith Finch. So, the central argument is that What Remains of Edith Finch revolutionized gaming by seamlessly blending cinema narrative and innovative working simulation mechanics elements. It challenged traditional games with its groundbreaking cinema method like visual transitions, framing, and intricate exploration structures into the interactive storytelling. The innovative narrative approach, combining players' interactions and rooms explorations, creates a non-linear narrative that invites players to find out stories of the Finch family with curiosity and engagement. At the same time, the game redefines the working simulations games by emphasizing players' emotional journey through the design's pathway and the smart subtitle guide. Cinema is the first keyword I choose. Cinema in games involve using film's techniques like visual transitions and framing, seamlessly blending them into the interactive storytelling, challenging the traditional gaming norms. The games incorporate cinema elements, enable players to shift between various characters' perspectives, resembling the multi-perspective storytelling found in films. So based on that, unlike other linear games narrative, What Remains of Edith Finch narrative created an opportunity for any characters to be substitutes under different storytelling needs. Characters can be switched at any time, which facilitates new possibility for cross-subject narrative. Molly's imaginative journey through the diverse animals' point of views would be the best examples of using these visual transitions inspired by film's techniques. When Molly transforms from a cat into an owl and then becomes a shark, the smooth visual shift shows film editing, which highlights the immersive storytelling experience. However, this cross-subject narrative approach raises a significant challenge. How can one express rich characters' monologues visually in games? Unlike films, utilize cinematographies, lighting, and facial expressions to bolster characters' monologues. What Remains of Edith Finch developed with the connecting fantasy visuals with the self-descriptive language. To achieve this, Molly's narrative using words like I become, now I am, I want, I turn into, and I ate captures monologues within the cross-subject experience. These techniques enhance the player's engagement and immersion in the narrative. The second is cinematic storytelling. In the games, each character's death takes on an absurdity highlighted by cinematic element. Take Barbara's example. Barbara's dismiss get along with her screams. This prompts questions about whether she is the victim of serial killers or surrenders to her self-construct fantasy. The use of the device mediums such as comics, animations, narrations, text, and sound further add absurdity onto this unique death. Furthermore, the games used other cinematic techniques for Calvin's, like the camera shaking in the photography, creating a sense of dangerous force swings. And in Sam's chapters, the game frames the gameplay scenes at the first frame and the camera's lens at the second. This not only allows players to manipulate the cameras, but also emphasizes Sam's death by the player's control within the frame. This method ensures that Edith's month, as well as players, will witness Sam's death in all details. This results in a profound impact on the players. Narrative. Narrative refers to the stories and plot structures that guides the player's journey through the game's world. The narrative for What Remains of Edith Finch shows in a unique manner, combining the direct player's involvement with the explorations of character-specific room. In the games, the narrative unfolds through a direct player's involvement. Although some of the experiences are fantastical and unrealistic When thinking deeply about the reason and situations behind those stories, players will feel relate to them. The most fantastic part of the games is that the narrative is conveyed through the gameplay. For example, it is Uncle Lewis, an employee at fish factories, embarks on a fantasy journey to overcome the reality. Players play as Lewis, doing repetitive fish cutting movement with the right hand while navigating an imaginative adventures with the left hand. Changing from the top-down maze games to a first-person perspective games in his imaginative world, this narrative progress of changing perspectives and the increased dominance of imaginative shows that Lewis increasingly immersed in his fantasies. Who haven't think about escaping from the reality? Lewis' stories offer a unique and powerful experience beyond traditional art forms that make players resonate with them. Moreover, the narrative extends through rooms explorations, where each room tells a unique story with symbolic significance. This aligns with Love's ideas of distinction between stories and narrative. He emphasized that the story is the events themselves, and the narrative is the manners of presentations. Take Barbara's rooms as an example. There is a child stars poster, awards, and the subtle details like employment-related newspapers. The game invites players to unfold narrative, actively or passively, by stimulating their curiosity to explore and interpret each character's narrative. These connections emphasize the importance of the narrative presentations within the distinct contents of rooms, and is emphasized by Lipp's insight on the storytelling elements. The game employs a romantic and poetic perspective to transform death into gentle and warm stories. Molly, who might die from eating various non-eatable food due to a family argument, she transforms into different creatures, seeking revenge. And even Calvin, who aspires to be an astronaut, fulfills his dreams to reach space on a swing. Barbara also realized her career goals years later when she performs the final acts of her amazing shows. The game aims to evoke meaningful response from players, rather than other games relying on logic reasoning to figure out the story. Mechanic are the rules and interactions that govern gameplays. The mechanic of What Remains of Edith Finch is a walking simulation, but the game redefines the walking simulation by emphasizing emotional journey and explorations over traditional challenge. The game constructs a non-linear narrative within the old house through rooms pathway mechanic, similar to design principles found in games like Super Mario and Zelda. The interconnected rooms and pathway serve not only as a space element, but also build a smooth transitions between the level. And saying back to the What Remains of Edith Finch, despite many rooms are initially locked, the intricate network of secret pathways invite players to engaging in explorations in the walking simulation game. The game has diverse pathways such as underground cave, tree trunk, seaside area, graveyard. Each of these pathways provide players interest, and players never need to confuse about where should go because all the paths are being set. Through simple actions like unlocking doors, activating mechanisms, bending down, climbing, and finally, when entering into a new rooms, players shift from tensions and fears to curiosity and delight, which also allow players to explore their new rooms driven by their own curiosity. And interactions narrative guidance. The games introduce a unique and innovative approach to interactions and narrative guidelines through the subtitles. These subtitles serve roles as both narrators and instructors. They appear in the front to guide players without explicit directions. Whenever in skies or near doors, the subtitles clearly lead players forward. This is a smart use of subtitle to enhance the overall immersive experience without being interrupted by it. Moreover, in Gao's chapters, subtitles become an interactive element. Players manipulate them using a kite to advance the story. Very impressive. I have the same feeling with this post. I like Lewis' narrative the most, to be honest. Lewis struggles about his fantasy world constructing with his meaningless job, which resonates to most of the people. The depictions of the vast contrasts between the reality and the fantasy captures the instincts of human nature. So, in conclusion, What Remains of Edith Finch marks a revolutionary shift in gaming, seamless merging cinema, narrative, and mechanic element. And thanks for watching.